Good morning. Another day here in Bekasi. So we want to go with the kids to the SeaWorld in Jakarta. It's about an hour from here. And obviously you would have to order a car, taxi to go there. But we are lucky. We have a friend in Amsterdam and she owns a car here in Jakarta. So that's her car. Her mom dropped it off yesterday. I don't even know, I'm not even quite sure which kind of car it is. I kind of hoped it would be a automatic car, but it's not. I guess it's a, I don't know, is it Daihatsu? So it's a manual, like gear shifting car, which is a little bit awkward for me. I can drive, I'm from Europe, I have no problem driving a manual car. It's just here that I have to sit on the right side and shift the gears with my left hand, so this is a first for me. And then driving on the left side, obviously not as easy as with a motorcycle or a scooter. And we're lucky, there's a neighbor here that's such a luxury. We got a baby seat for the little one, so it's kind of almost like European style. Okay, so it's a Daihatsu Astra, and let's see how I'm gonna do in Jakarta traffic and with the gear shifting. The pedals should be all the same. I know the problem is the when you want to signal, if you're gonna go left or right, you kind of get confused, because if you're sitting on the left side you do it with your left hand, so might be I use the wipers instead of the signals, so we'll see. Anyways, almost ready, waiting for my wife and the other daughter, and let's explore Jakarta and get into Jakarta's traffic. So this is my first meters here with a manual car in Jakarta, in the neighborhood. Still easy because no traffic at all. I told you what's gonna happen when I use the signals. That's just like when you're driving for 20 years, you're driving on the right side, and it's just like so. Huh?
Not there. Is it there? No, left side.
Oh, we have to go left side?
Yeah, that's wooden.
Oh. So, first mistake here in the neighborhood. And the one thing here in Jakarta, everywhere, it's the speed bumps. They're like every 10 meters there's a speed bump, and they're so tall, like you really have to be very slow. Well, I hope by the end of the day I know where the signals are, don't make any mistakes anymore. Okay. So we're kind of getting on the main road here in the neighborhood. The roads here are very, it's kind of like different patches of concrete, like they built 20 meters a year and never really kind of connected it properly, and it's full of potholes, and so you have to be very careful. And when you have to pass by a bigger vehicle like a truck or something, you have to be really careful about the edges, because the edges sometimes just go into the drainage canal, like really bad. Han, do you have any small change? Huh? Huh? Terima kasih. So I don't know if you could see, but when you getting here on the main roads in Jakarta, it's hard to join the main roads because there's always so much traffic. Nobody gonna stop and let you drive, so you kind of depending on these guys who are making way for you. And every time you have to tip them at least 2,000 rupiah, so that's what, I don't know, like 20 cents.
You don't have to close the window.
The one thing you have to be aware all the time is the motorcycles, because they will use any chance to pass you from the left, from the right. So when you want to make any turns in any direction, you first have to make sure there is nobody on your left or on your right, or in front of you or behind you, like to brake down, to slow down, you have to always consider all four directions around you. Well, so far the shifting is not as a big problem as I thought. I thought like it's gonna need more to get used to shifting with my left hand, but actually that works out just fine. Now we're coming to a roundabout here in the neighborhood. We still have some couple kilometers to go, and then we can join the main highway here in Jakarta. So roundabout on the left side. so far so good. And what happens often here in Jakarta is that somebody gonna come from the direction they're not supposed to come. So when you're turning somewhere, you always can expect that there's gonna be a motorcycle or somebody, or a guy pushing a cart or something, just gonna be kind of coming the opposite direction. So you have to be very careful when you're driving, so you don't hit somebody. And we don't want to do that, especially not as a foreigner, to be involved in any kind of accidents here. Well, it's Sunday today. I don't know, maybe it's not as busy today. Yeah, I think it's because it's Sunday. Might be on a normal, regular weekday, would be much busier. A little bit rain, drizzling. So this time I'm driving a car. I'm gonna make another video about riding a motorcycle in Jakarta. Might be much easier to use a motorcycle because you have kind of more space. You can wiggle around. The one thing you have to be careful is really driving on the left side, passing vehicles on the left side, because there's always potholes and sharp edges and canals. So this is a big danger. So I guess, in my opinion, it's more dangerous to drive a motorcycle than a car, because you can get injured more easily. And people turning like this, which you wouldn't be allowed to do in Europe, but here it's people just use any space and any way to.
And you don't take that
Huh?
tall.
Huh?
You don't take that tall.
I'm gonna go in the other direction. So we're gonna take the toll here. Like I said, that's the one thing. It's gonna follow me all day long today. The signals. Which side do we take? Doesn't matter. It's all the same. Huh?
What?
It's all the same?
Same one.
Same?
Tall.
Okay. There is a card you have to tap to get here.
Uang elektronik.
Electronic toll. Okay, that's it. So now we are on a highway in Jakarta. my phone and you see for the directions because I take Jakarta North. Yeah, just take it up. Just take it up.
Battery charging, yeah?
Yeah, I'm charging. I know my way. I know exactly where I'm going. The only problem is the intersections. It's like you have to make your decision on time, and I just don't want to be turning earlier or after because the intersections here are sometimes
On the left side.
Huh?
On the left side there.
Yeah, we stay on the left side because I know we have to take the exit here. I'm not sure when. So we just want to make sure we take the right exit because Jakarta sometimes the traffic can get so bad and we don't want unnecessary to go in a direction we don't want to go because sometimes it's just like you kind of get stuck in traffic for an hour and the way to where we're going is only an hour. So if you're sitting in a traffic jam for an hour, this is not what we want to do. And then if you have to reverse and go back, kind of like just lose too much time. Still straight?
Yeah. So straight and then slide to the left and then going to the right. Now in 1.8 kilometers.
Okay.
So not far away.
So driving on the highway is actually a little bit easier because there's no motorcycles allowed at all. I think like it's not like in Europe, you're not allowed to get on the highway with a small scooter or a small motorcycle. I think here generally you're not allowed to because there's just way too many motorcycles in Jakarta. So if they would let people ride motorcycles, they would just clog the highways and wiggle around everywhere. So I kind of think it's just a safety reason. So there's no motorcycles on the highway at all. So you kind of have it easier. You don't have to pay attention on all the motorcycles. So it makes driving a little bit less stressful.
Meters.
Yeah. So here is our next exit. It's a really big intersections here of the highways in Jakarta. So we're just gonna stay behind here now. So far the driving of the car is actually quite comfortable. It's good. Driving a car is really more comfortable. If you had empty roads like or I don't want to say empty roads, just kind of more functioning roads, then riding a motorcycle is okay. But here in Jakarta, when you have to sit on a motorcycle for 2 hours or on a scooter, we go here.
Yeah, Tanjung Priok.
So that's our exit.
Yeah, that's quite tricky.
So then actually my ass hurts from the seat. It's really annoying to use a scooter all the time. If you just have to do short trips, that's actually more convenient and fast. But if you have to go long trips like this one here with a car, it takes now 50 minutes, something around 50 minutes. If you have to take a motorbike, then obviously you can't use the highway, so you have to go through the city. So it's gonna take at least 1.5 hours, 1 hour 40 minutes, because it's kind of all way on the sea. So if you're taking longer trips, a car is a better option. Next toll gate. How much was this now? 7,000 rupiah? So before we paid €1, now we paid half, 50 cents. I mean, it seems cheap for the European standards, but if you're here in Jakarta and you drive every day, it adds up, right?
That's very expensive for us.
Yeah. Then it gets very expensive.
Because this is not only one-time autobahn, but you have to like tap some more.
Yeah. So this is the main north-south, south-north highway here in Jakarta, and now when I was here last time, I don't know, I think this here was not existent, so this is a new metro line or something, or light rail line.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure.
KRL.
So you see it's a big highway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lanes. 5-lane highway.
And we just head to the north in 26 kilometers away.
Yeah, so basically we just stay on the highway for 26 kilometers, get all the way to the coast and take one exit and then find a parking there. That's like where all the fun here is in Jakarta. It's the beach, it's the restaurants, it's what's the Dunia, it's like amusement park. There's SeaWorld, there's like many things for families and children to
theme park, yeah,
to hang out with. So that's where we're heading today with the children, meet some friends, and have the children have a nice day. So just about driving a car in Indonesia, many people would say don't do it. If you're a Westerner, don't do it. I'm gonna tell you one thing, it's not that I don't suggest you to drive in Jakarta. I think it's quite doable, but I don't suggest you to come to Indonesia for your first time ever. Take a car at the airport, rent a car and get into Jakarta's traffic, because this is a very bad idea. You kind of have to get used to just hang out here for a week, to get some rides with a Grab or Gojek, just get used to the people, how they actually drive, what's the behavior of the people driving motorcycles, the cart pushing guys, the cars, the trucks, like just you kind of get the feeling for how everybody is behaving on the road. So you kind of have a sense after 10 days, 2 weeks, how everything works, and then you might try to rent a car, but even then I don't suggest to do it on a really busy street in Jakarta. Try it somewhere else, and it's doable. It's very challenging too, but it's also fun if you master driving in Jakarta. It's something like you're driving in India, in Mumbai or something like this. So it's kind of fun too. Well, another toll. Sometimes the tolls in foreign countries are confusing too, because you don't know which one to take, you don't know the local language, you don't know which toll gate is for you, if it's for the trucks, if it's but here my take is you have the ramps above, and then the ramps are obviously for cars, so the trucks cannot go through. So I guess I'm on the safe side if I take this one. The one thing you don't want to do is if you rent a motorcycle or just a scooter here in Jakarta, don't be that stupid and get on a roundabout and use the toll entrance on a highway, right? Because that can happen and people are going to be laughing, because then you're on a motorcycle standing in front of the toll gate, but you're not allowed to get on the... So I'm not even really sure about the speed limit here. I'm just driving 80 because it just kind of feels comfortable. Everybody else is driving around 80. I'm not sure if it's 100. You know what the speed limit here is in Indonesia?
120.
120. So my wife says it's 120, but 120 might be even a little bit too fast. The problem with driving too fast is just that this road, the highway, seems in a very good condition, but if you're driving 120, it's obviously much faster than 80, and if you have a big pothole, so if you're driving slower, you have much more reaction time. So I wouldn't be speeding here, because sometimes even just here on the bridges, the connections, they get worn out, and then you have a big pothole, and then you could wreck your tire or something, and then you don't want to be stuck on the highway with a flat tire or something. So just take it easy and watch out for other people driving. You always have to be like, you have to predict how other people are driving too. That's like the most important thing about driving in Jakarta. It's just that you always paying attention about the people in front of you. All the side roads, when people are merging in from the left side, they tend not even to look, they just kind of turn left. So you have to be aware of all these things and predict what could happen, slow down, let them get their way. Doesn't matter if you think it's you have the right of way, just kind of slow down, let the people go. You just kind of have to predict where they're gonna turn, where they're gonna go. If they're slowing down, most likely they're gonna turn. So just kind of,
you should know many things without the guy telling you.
Yeah, exactly. Like my wife said, in Indonesia, you should know many things about how people like live here, do things, and without the people telling you. So you kind of, that's the thing about here, you just have to get you have to go out here, you have to see what people do, how they do, you have to learn from them, and then all this yeah, and then you have to like you just have to follow what the locals do, and this is how you do things here. If it's driving, if it's like social contacts, and just kind of go from there, and then you will learn how to do things properly, and I think then even not have any big problems. So the big buildings on the right side, this is a big mall with residential buildings, the white ones. This is where we used to live, my wife, for a year, and I used to come here to Indonesia on a couple occasions, always for 2 months, and I lived there too. Sometimes we miss our small apartment there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. You kind of were not in the city center of Jakarta, you were a little bit on the perimeter, but still getting everywhere quickly from here. Anyways guys, that's it from the video. It's already 28 minutes. I just wanted to show you how it's driving around here, maybe some useful stuff. I might do another video in like a more congested area with traffic, just to see how people are driving here when you have 3 lanes in the city and motorcycles, and just what you have to pay attention at. And then one time maybe again with our scooter, so you can see what you have to pay attention at, because it's fun driving in Jakarta. I love it. It's much more fun than in Germany or other Western countries where I used to drive, because you kind of there you just kind of can zone out and just drive, and you get to work and you don't even know, like, if you whatever passed red lights, green lights, because you just kind of drive like a zombie. It's just something you do every day and you don't even have to pay attention. Here you have to pay attention all the time, 360 degrees around you.